Well, hello and welcome. I'm so excited about today's broadcast. I have a very special guest, but before we get to that, I want to thank you for tuning in because this platform of exceptional living is designed with you in mind. And our goal is to see you live the uniquely crafted and purposeful life that each and every human was created to live. So, as you know, we're going to inform, inspire, and ignite the greatness that lies within you. As you know, our platform brings together thought leaders, global influencers from corporate spaces to entrepreneurs to grassroots organizers in a variety of fields so that you, whatever and wherever it is that you feel called and purpose to make change for positive world that we will live in, you'll learn something. So today, I am so excited about my guest, all the way from the beautiful nation of Namibia. Ipupa Kasheeta. Hello, Ipupa.
Hello, hi, good afternoon, good evening from Dubai,
yes,
and evening. Good evening,
so
good evening, everyone.
I have to give a proper introduction because this woman is amazing. She is a multi-skilled professional with over 20 years of combined work experience in human resource development and port operations. She has a track record of leading and driving change within organizations. Ipupa started her corporate journey as a private secretary at the Ministry of International Relations in Namibia. Through dedication and self-development, she grew through the ranks to become the first female port operations manager at the Namibian Ports Authority, a natural gateway situated at the southwest coast of Africa. It provides international trade to and from the SADC region to Europe, the Americas, and the Far East. Her work experience spans across maritime industry, central banking, road transportation, and the public-private sector. She previously held positions of manager, learning and development before transitioning into port operations as bulk and break bulk terminal with a staff complement of 150 personnel, a position she held for 5 years. She's now managing the ship and rig repair facility at the Port of Walvis Bay in Namibia. She holds a master's in business leadership, bachelor of business administration, human resource management, certificate in change and organizational development, high education diploma, certificate in African, feminist, and gender studies, and an advanced diploma in central banking. Ipupa has, during her career, served as a non-executive independent director of both public and private sectors boards in Namibia. She believes in personal and community upliftment and has established Ipupa K Grow You initiative to provide mentorship to youth, women, and girls in her country. She was nominated as one of the top 20 female leaders in Namibia in 2018 who are making a difference in their respective areas of leadership. So that's the formal introduction. But I know Ipupa as sister, as family, as a beautiful woman outside, but even more so inside. And I have been honored and privileged to travel to the beautiful nation of Namibia and to meet the women in Ipupa K Grow You, but also other persons who testify to all the things that I just read. And so I am deeply honored to have my sister, Ipupa Kasheeta, here with us today on Exceptional Living. Ipupa, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Such a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and good evening to everyone.
Yes. Well, Ipupa, as I said, I created this platform because I wanted people to know that there are global change agents who are affecting their communities and their nations profoundly. But oftentimes we don't hear about them or see about them because we're in our own little circles. But what I've witnessed and what you've done there in Namibia, from TEDx talks to, again, your mentorship program, and even the influence and respect that you've garnered in the work environment there in Namibia is just outstanding. And so again, I just celebrate you. And I know that you have broken a lot of barriers, glass ceilings, you shattered. We like to also say climb the ladder of success in stilettos in your heels. But tell us a little bit about what exceptional living means to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Exceptional living, for me, it means living a life that is not only defined by success, but a life that is, a life of significance, impacting and affirming lives. And it is also my belief that it is living a purpose-driven life where you are believing that our generation has a role to play in not only sharing our achievements, but also to show the youth and especially the women how we have navigated through our challenges and how and they can also achieve more and that they can also achieve more.
Absolutely. So what would you say help someone to live this exceptional life, to overcome these challenges that you're talking about, especially as women?
Especially as women. It is said that when you are thoughtful, you are thankful.
Mm.
And having said that, that is for me a powerful attribute to help you look back and, to how far you have gone, what you have achieved, and to ascribe your achievement to God. And secondly, also the realization that God has planted within each one of us the potential to achieve greatness. So that will make you to look at fellow human beings with compassion and the desire to awaken the hidden talent in others.
I love that, Ipupa. You said when you are thoughtful, you're thankful. And so that means you look for the potential in others, what they're capable of. Sometimes when we ourselves don't even see it in ourselves, right? And that actually is a beautiful lead into what my next question was, and that is about mentorship. And I know the Ipupa K Grow You initiative that you started a few years ago has grown substantially throughout the nation of Namibia. Women I know who drove in when I was last with you in 2019. It's like, what can we say with 2020, right? But we're blessed to still be here, absolutely. But that drove for, hours just to be with you and other women from around the country. How important is mentorship, and tell us a little bit about why you started your initiative.
All right. Let me first start by defining or by talking about the importance of mentorship. You see, there is an African proverb that says that a tree doesn't make a forest. So, meaning nobody has made it alone without some form of mentorship. Over the years, I came to realize that mentorship helps you to rise above the vicissitudes of life. And, there is this notion that you should learn through your mistakes. Though it holds some value in terms of going through the process, because at times it's important to go through a process. But I came to realize that mentorship is a learning curve cutter. It helps you to, to avoid these haphazard mistakes that we that we go through. It helps us to learn from those who are mentoring us, because we learn from them their insights, their knowledge, their experience, and so many other um, you know benefits from them. So growing up under a system that was so limiting in so many ways, my motto is to be that person, that is a beacon of light to others. And Ipupa Groyo is I've is inspired by my personal journey and career journey to to give hope and inspiration to the youth and to the women of or in my country. So it is really, given that I am a product of someone who benefited from mentorship, I'm reminded by one of the quotes that I read by the former First Lady Michelle Obama, who said that when you walk through that door of opportunity, don't, slam the door, behind you. Help others, look back, reach back, and help others also to come and enter that room or to enjoy the same opportunity that was afforded to you. So for me, that is the what motivated me to establish the Ipupa Groyo mentorship program.
But I love what you said. You said that a tree does not make a forest. And the truth about it is that we've all benefited from others who have helped to come before us, right?
Mm.
We say we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us. And that's so true. As you were talking, I thought about something else that says, if you want to go fast, go along alone. But if you want to go farther, go with someone.
Absolutely.
I think for many people, they do recognize, I need someone to speak into my life, to mentor me. But, often it is, how do you determine uh, who should be your mentors? How do you find a mentor?
All right. Number one, in order for, all right, I always say that you shouldn't be, one shouldn't confuse a role model and a mentor. And when you are pursuing a mentor, never pursue a mentor because of their achievements. And I'm referring now to material achievement, that the mentor is driving a beautiful car, beautiful house, beautiful clothes, and all that, and so forth. Rather pursue, number one, a mentor for his insights, his knowledge, experience, and the willingness for you to learn from their experience, because number one, either they've gone ahead of you or they are in a role which you aspire to be. That should be the basis for one, to pursue a mentor.
That's very good, right? So you're saying, don't just look at the success only, but look at other things, of what the mentor, their knowledge, their insight, experience. And I know people may be asking, how did you, April, from the US, meet this dynamic phenomenon? And it's amazing how life connects you two people in places. And I, being a woman of faith, certainly believe that when you're following purpose, that God brings the people, takes you to the places, connects you to the resources and resources, not just, tangible. The first thing people often think of is the money, right? People, well, I need the money to do this, but that's not even how, God really began. And I actually share this in my latest book, Think, Innovate, and Create, which is that he provided an environment of resources. And once that was settled, then he brought man and created him. But to shorten the story a bit, it was through a couple that we knew in Cape Town, who, when I was traveling to Namibia the first time, introduced me to Pastor Kamadi. And he says, well, you're going to be in Swakopmund. I'm not, but there's this amazing young woman who you had been mentored and coached with and connected us. And I remember we went out to dinner that night because of the schedule, I was involved in. It was it's like we've met for 10, 15 years. It just connected. And that's the other thing, it's when you have similar passions and values, that you're able to connect. And I hear you really sharing that, about mentorship is connecting to someone who shares also your values, right? Because there are a lot of people who have experience and have knowledge, but they may not share the same heart or values. And so that's important, because you're going to be looking at this person, to speak into your life. And I remember when we were there last at the event where Honorable Jueves was there and sharing from the ministry there and of government, and then also, but just the different ladies that were there in age, also in what they do there in Namibia, was just it's a testament to how, again, your passion for what you do, and to see women and girls empowered and equipped to what they need to be successful, not just professionally, but first personally, right? Because what we do proceeds from who we are. And so again, and I know this, are there some mentors that stand out to you? I mean, you've gone into places that were predominantly male dominated. So how did you find a female mentor? Did you have male mentors? Does that matter?
I had both. I had both, female and male. And I had so many mentors, because just as we said, that we don't just grow in our, in our career or professional lives. When you seek out to, to be a better person, if I may put it that way, is to grow as a whole person. And that is one of the aims of Ipupa K Grow You, is to mentor, a person, looking at what is also called the wheel of life, where you look at the various dimensions of the person's life. And that's why on the Ipupa K Grow You mentorship program, I have other coaches or co-mentors, including yourself. You came to Namibia twice, where you mentored, where you were a co-mentor for the mentees. And I have other people in my network, being clinical psychologists, CEOs, and so forth. So for me, I must say that I am where I am today because of mentors who taught me, number one, the power of a written vision. I tell you, the first time that my mentor said to me, Ipupa, do you have a vision, a written vision? I said, no, I don't have one. All right. I want you to write down your vision and your goals for the next 6 months. I couldn't think further than a month. And this mentor kept saying, go back, think, where are you seeing yourself? And in no time, I could come up with a vision that is 10 years long or 20-year vision. Like I have a vision which I call Vision 2031, which I wrote so many years ago. So, with this in mind, is to say that my mentors made me to understand that a planned life is a meaningful life. Mm. And they have taught me that never leave your life to chance. And it always reminds me of the scripture that, time and chance happens to them all. Even if it means you take your life and vision into prayers, you need to be purposeful. You need to have a vision. You need to be driven by that vision. And talking of where I am in my career, it is truly as a result of, number one, having that plan, having a vision. You would see when you introduced me, I started off as a secretary. In actual fact, as a typist in a typing role. And having mentors, they help you to look. They help you to, they say that talent is not taught, is awakened. They help you to see that part of you that is, in most cases, hidden to your own view. So, yeah.
Wow. You said so much. I'm taking it all in. I told you, this woman is just phenomenal. Just a deep trove of wealth and insights on exceptional living. But one thing that you shared, Ipupa, was certainly about planning, right? And I love that you said you have a plan through 2031, because unfortunately, many don't plan their lives. It's just, well, if I can just make it through and pay bills, if I can just, and it's very happenstance. And as you said, yes, the Bible says that time and chance happens to everyone. And I love it because the playing field, as we may say, is level. Time will come for those who are wealthy, and the same time will come to those who are not. But what happens in between is what is the determinant of how chance will play into their lives. And so wise persons plan for the future because they know that it will come. And you, like myself, are also a woman of faith. And we know that even Christ planned everything, how he was going to come, what the world would be like. The Old Testament, he even has a plan, Ipupa, for when this life as we know it is over, right?
Yes.
And so when we look at planning, it's so important. And I certainly see this past year for many people, unfortunately, they didn't have a plan, and it became more evident. And the chance of life that happened, especially for women, where we can talk about women, what happened, having to stay home, working with children. I know in UN Women, we're talking about, equity and parity, and here we are making steps forward. And then the pandemic comes and we have to, what appears to be a retreat of sorts. But I don't think that we can just look at it solely as a retreat. What I know about military is that sometimes it looks like things that are coming as attacks, that you fall back, but not fall back for defeat, but to just kind of reassess things, restructure things, come up with different tactics, look for strategies now that you may have to employ that you had not thought of prior to. And the book of Proverbs, very famous, as Solomon pays tribute to his mother in the 31st chapter. But we look at a woman, Ipupa, who, like you, she had a vision, not just for herself, but also for her family. She had a vision, for those who served around her. And the impact of this vision became her being recognized in her community, her husband, the persons who worked with her. And so we see that planning is beneficial to everyone. And I like that you said you had different mentors. Would you share with us some of the different mentors that you have in your life, Ipupa, that I think would certainly benefit this audience?
I had a spiritual mentor, because you just mentioned something very profound now, that when you are planning your life, you don't just plan it for yourself and just focusing on one dimension in your life. So you plan as Ipupa, the spiritual life, as a wife, as a mother, as a sister, as a community player, depending whichever dimension is important in your life. So I had so many mentors, as I said. I had for my spiritual journey, for my career journey, for, as a mother and a wife. I also had mentors in that area. So if I start mentioning names, I'm sure I would not finish them all, because also as you are evolving, so do your mentors, change and evolve. Yes. But all in all, mentorship is about relationships. And the one thing, if I may give a tip on that, they say, dig your well way ahead before you need the water. Or reach out to people way in advance before you need them. And that's also testimony to our relationship, how we connected. And by the time I needed you to come and mentor and, speak into the lives of the women here in Namibia, there was already a connection. And that is the most important thing when when you go out and look for mentors, because people want to connect to, or people want others to connect to them, yes, in an authentic way, not only when you need them.
Very good. Absolutely, Ipupa. And I love this because you show that you can have mentors for different areas of your life. And that's important. And I think that speaks to the interconnectedness of humanity. And, here in Atlanta, civil rights activist and minister, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is very famous for saying that we are all tied in this inescapable network of mutuality, that what affects one affects another. And that I cannot be all that I ought to be until you're all that you ought to be. And we hear this also in what's, Ubuntu, right? Which is an ethos from our beloved, motherland. But and it's beautiful how God actually placed it, that no one person has everything, but we all have different talents, abilities, and gifts that He's given us. And so we're connected in order to help, as you said earlier, to pull that out through mentors, through coaches, through relationships. I like to say that relationships are bridges into your future destiny. And you're right, they change with time. If we were to go back, say 10 years ago, just in your career journey and in mine as well, we knew different people at different levels of engagement. But over the years, some of that has changed. we've met new people or learn new things that have taken us to where we are now, but also with the anticipation of what is to come and what information and knowledge and resources will come in order for us to continue on this purpose journey. And I remember when I first met you, there's this beautiful shiny object on your hand. So a lot of wonderful things have happened over this past year, but now you're married, have a beautiful family. Tell us a little bit about that journey, because as women, we can be in career spaces and doing great things and successful, but then there's also the personal side to our life. Talk to us a little bit about your journey. And you being found as a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Me being found, I must say, it was also part of the vision. I had a block on my vision, on my plan, where or let me put it this way. The way I write down my vision and the goals, I define or answer, as they say, the 5 W's. What, why, where, when, and how. Now, on the column where I wrote is Ipupa, the wife, I asked myself, why do you, this prayer, why would you like to have someone? And normally what I do for each and every dimension in my life, I will have a scripture, and I'll go to a scripture that talks about God, the scripture that talks about having, a wife, or being a wife, or being a husband, because God is a relational God. And if we go back and we look at creation, Adam and Eve, God said it's not good for men to be alone. And really, as career women, and that is the one thing that I always try to also in our mentorship program, to bring in a lot of the emotional intelligence mentorship, because at times we focus on the one aspect and neglect the other. Whereas, though one can never really balance, but there is a book that really helped me, and that is Lean In by I think Sheryl Sandberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and when I read that book, I said, no, I can be a wife. I can have a career. I can have children. I can have, all that which my heart desires. And again, it's about relationships, it's about networking. My husband, I found him, or how we met, was through a mutual friend. A mutual friend. I never planned for it, but that's how it happened, and the rest is history.
Yes, the rest is history making and herstory making, and I love it. So, hello to Olu. You're watching this, but I love that. Yes, that you can have it all, and so not to put all of your business out there, but I know that you and he also went through counseling, right? To to learn each other, not just when you're out dining and there's you're looking into his eyes, he's looking into your eyes, but also, like you said, who is this person? what do they value? What do they believe? What also is their vision for their life? And then bringing your vision that for your life together. And so that's also important too, is to have that time to, to learn them and to know about them, and then say, okay, you can find me. So for everyone who's watching, you heard Ipupa's tell you, you can have it all. And so absolutely, Ipupa's, the reality of it is this, and in your journey, I'm sure there were times when you may have experienced disappointment, maybe even a setback for where you write your vision, this is where I want to be. You look up and go, whoop, I didn't make that goal. Or that didn't happen, for me as I thought it would. What would you share with our audience who's watching today when you have a disappointment or a setback? What did you do to overcome, or maybe you're still overcoming, or or how do you manage that? I certainly think that that's important as well, for an exceptional life, is being able to manage disappointments, overcome setbacks. Talk to us a little bit about what that's been like for you.
Yes. Setbacks, disappointments, life has a way at times how it just throw curveballs to us. And it is, what is important, it's how you take it and how you deal with it. It is not necessarily the what. The what is important in order for you to understand. And you can only understand the what when you have that inner peace, that you have worked towards. Because it's important to, number one, to strive and to seek for that inner peace. And secondly, to continuously know who you are. That is so, so important, and it is a never-ending journey. I remember last week I was telling my friend that there is this teaching that I am following by Apostle Joshua Selman. And the teachings are so deep that I was saying to my friend that, you know what? I actually right now wish I can just go back to my mother's womb and come back again and relive my life with this understanding. So the journey of knowing who you are and knowing some foundational principles of life is a never ending, ever evolving journey. And once you don't have that foundation, it is easy to be shaken. And that's what the Bible also says. It depends where, have you planted your house on a rock, on the sand, and when the storms of life comes, where do you go to? And for me, what was important, or what helped me up to today, is my spiritual life, my spiritual journey with God. It really supports, it gives you that fortitude to be able to face life. Not that you won't be disappointed, not that you won't be betrayed, especially when it comes also in the corporate world, as you are growing, as you are climbing. It may sound, when one gives your journey of life, it may sound like a bed of roses. It's not always the case. There is at times tears, disappointment, betrayal, and all that. What's important again is your faith, in what you believe in, what you stand for, and I can't stop or put emphasis on a vision, because once you have that, it's your purpose becomes clear, and it also directs you, it guides you, it guides your values. Because at times, there were times that I was also confused, but then before you make that decision, you always ask why. Because in the why, that's where the purpose is. And in the why, if you have already a plan, it will possibly help you to say that, maybe not this way, or maybe let me just take a back seat and observe, or this is the action that I need to take. And let's not be fearful. If you ask me, was I afraid at times? Yes, but not fearful, because fear has a way to steal our destiny, has a way to confuse us and to take a different direction, which is opposite to what you have said for yourself.
Oh, I'm taking this all in, Ipupa. That having a vision for your life helps to guide and direct your life. That includes the planning you talked about earlier, the mentors that we choose, that we pursue, and certainly our faith, right? Some people say that, fear is false evidence that appears real. Fear is facing everything and still rising. And certainly our faith is what gives us the fortitude for the vicissitudes of life, right?
Yes.
And we know that trials, tribulations, things will come that sometimes are outside of our control. But then there are also times when we chose poorly, right? That we didn't take a moment to sit back and to consider the whole matter. And Proverbs talks about that, right? Who sits down to build, who doesn't first consider what it will take to build, whether that's your life, your career, whatever it is, an enterprise, a business, an opportunity. And so part of, again, what enables us to still persevere is having a vision, having that faith, and also being disciplined to do what it's going to take, what's necessary in order to accomplish those goals. So thank you for that. In understanding that the purpose is what the why is. Why we do what we do is because it was created. And we think about things that are manufactured, right? There's always a purpose in the mind of the creator for the thing that he or she creates. And so if you ever want to know what the purpose of something is, you go back to the manufacturer of that thing. But this is also what's powerful, Ipupa, is that we know that whatever it was, that particular thing was designed. I mean, even here, this pen that I'm holding, everything that is needed for this pen or the person who's watching today, you, to fulfill the purpose for which you were created is already within you. It's built in. And there's a guarantee from the manufacturer, from God, who says you will be successful if you follow the blueprint, if you follow the plan. And so, Ipupa, I would ask you, what would the woman that you are today say to the girl that you were? What would the woman that you are today say to the girl that you were?
I grew up a very, very shy girl. You won't believe. I couldn't talk or speak in front of people, so many people. And then the other secret is that because I was so shy, I never participated in sport activities. Like, for instance, it was a very popular here to play netball for, every girl at school would know how to play netball. And it's something up to now I don't know how to play because I was so shy. So looking back, and again, is because of someone who spotted that talent in me, and 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 it's almost like I was having an eagle that was trapped inside me, an eagle whose wings were clipped off or were clipped. So what I would say to the girl I would say seek out or seek the help of a mentor whilst very young. The earlier you start, actually, the better. And that is why I am so passionate when it comes to the girl child, the youth, and especially the women. Because when I look back, some of the opportunities and some of the decisions that I have taken, it was simply because of lack of understanding, and also given the background, as I've mentioned, that I came from, that was so limiting in so many ways. Because they say when you know better, you do better. And the same goes for when you know better, at least you tend to make quality choices. So as a young girl, seek for a mentor. I know as a young person you would feel so scared. How do I approach this person? But it's important to have that mentor to guide you spiritually, emotionally. And one of the way is to be active in community projects or at church. That is the time where your leadership and character are shaped. And that's also where, without knowing, your confidence is built. Volunteer, volunteer, and by serving, that's where number one, you are putting yourself out there. Number two, someone may recognize you and, take you by your hand, and that person can become your mentor. So, because it's not always that you will be the one pursuing the mentor, because I look at how I do it, especially the school children. I think God has given me just that grace where, I can spot a diamond, I can spot, a rough diamond, I can spot talent. And I thank God for that. And don't be afraid to dream big. I've been so afraid. That's why I couldn't participate in the school, activities, because I've been afraid, I've been shy, and if you ask me what was it that I was afraid of, I don't know. Yes, don't be afraid. Dream big and dream big.
Oh, love it. Well, I'm glad that mentor who saw the rough diamond in Ipupa helped to pull that out to kind of nurture that potential that was there, and certainly to dream big. As they say, if you're going to dream, which we all will, dream big. Why not dream big? And again, I love when you said there are areas of service all around us that can help to pull out and help develop even skills from volunteering. I'm reminded of a story of a young gentleman I worked with, and we were talking in a meeting. What can we do? And he had these big dreams of where he wanted to go professionally into sports. And says, "Well, I'm too young to do anything else." It says, "Well, let's see. How old are you? Okay. So what about the little guys, right? What about the little guys? You know enough to teach them." And so, as you said, earlier you were talking about former First Lady Michelle Obama. When you open the door, leave it open and bring people with you. And I know there's a beautiful picture also too of My Brother's Keeper. It's called, where there's someone reaching their hand over the wall to pull someone up. And I think that too is really important, and really all that we've shared today is that everyone can do something where they are.
Yeah.
You can volunteer to read to a young person at school. You can volunteer to, maybe answer a phone in an office. You said you started off, you were a secretary, but look at how your willingness to start where you were. I often say that, everything starts in a seed form. And that's what really creates the system, the reproductive system we talk about, from not just humans, but even in plants and flora and fauna and in animals. But everything starts small. But it's what we do to nurture, to cultivate, to develop, that allows it to grow big and bigger and bigger. And so I commend you for your courage to start, even with a little bit of fear, right? We all have it. It comes to all of us. But I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, watching this broadcast today, that although Ipupa said she was shy to speak in front of a crowd, you would not know that at all today. But again, that's a testament, as she said, to start where you are, to service. And it may be in a community of, where you live. What areas can you volunteer in? Can you serve in your church? And, we've heard great testimonies of persons who've learned principles inside their church of how to serve, values, how to do business and volunteer areas. And it can translate over into those skill sets, can transfer into the corporate arena. And also, entrepreneurship if you're a business owner. Ipupa today has been so rich. I was taking notes. I am. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed from you, even though you are a mentor and you do amazing things in imparting and encouraging and equipping others. I've seen your own teachability and your own humility to remain coachable again. And I think that also is a key to living an exceptional life, is being teachable and coachable. And in the areas where, again, we get it right, great. But in those areas where we may miss it, that we remain humble and say, you know what, this is a lesson learned. And what can I do to not fall into the same area again? And so I've certainly seen that in the work that you've done, you personally, and your beautiful family and daughters, and again, just the community there in Namibia, and also to Olu, who has found his good thing, his far above rubies. And so again, I commend you for the work that you're doing, and for what is yet to come, because I know the best is yet to come. So as we close out today, if there are any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience?
Let's be intentional. As you said, that we all can be mentors in our own, small ways. But what I mean by intentional mentors is that intentional mentors, they seek out opportunities for their mentees. They help them to become great, even greater than the mentor, to the extent that we should be willing to have those that we are mentoring, even if it means for them to stand on our shoulders, to see far and to become great. We owe that to to the generation that we have gone ahead of them. And also, for me, is for us, like, let me commend you what you have done now. This program is to build partnership and collaboration to bring together resources and expertise to grow and to mentor the youth and especially women into a generation of leaders. In the past, mentorship was kind of like, the traditional mentorship, which is face to face, where you need to be physical here, like, when you came to Namibia. But today, with technology, distance is no barrier at all. So let's continue to build that partnership. And my prayer is to reach a wider audience across Africa by working with institutions or organizations like yours and others around the globe to identify and address issues affecting our women, the girl child, and those limiting factors that are standing in our way. So those are my thoughts. And of course, to document is important, and to document our journeys, because as I said in the beginning, that we owe it to the younger ones to not only share our successes, but also our challenges and how we overcame that. So it is important for us to document our journeys and stories in a published book, and to leave that as a legacy for generations to come. Thank you.
Oh, that's so rich. Thank you so much, Ipupa. Yes, that our being here, our giving back to those who come behind us because of those who have come before us is what we give back, not just to the earth, but to humanity. And so, again, I thank you today for all of the rich, rich insights that you have shared. And again, it's my honor and as part of the Inc. When you talk about international collaborations of thought and strategy to create a better and equitable society for us all. I thank you for the work that you are doing there in Namibia. And again, I know that the best is yet to come. And so we are certainly honored to be a part of the journey together. So thank you so much, Ipupa. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you to everyone who's watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find more information on our website at aprilripley.com. But just reminding you that you were created to live an exceptional life, unique by design. God bless you.